More than 24 hours after flash flooding hit the town of Dayton. Bridges that once carried cars, now impassable after the swift waters of the rivers washed parts of them away. Cars that once drove those bridges sit idle in ditches, victims of the current. It's a hard sight to see for people who have lived here their whole lives.
Crazy. I mean, just a matter of time how much debris and everything can, be so devastating to the community and so forth.
The damage is extensive, several $100,000. It's a hard figure for those who've lived here to swallow.
Kind of like a water tornado coming through. A tornado can be just as devastating as flooding.
The hardest hit area of Dayton, Skillet Creek Road. Pastures and cropland flattened by the wrath of the water. Water is still so high in some places, roads remain closed. Webster County's emergency management coordinator and Dayton's mayor will check out the damage Sunday. It's a survey that will take time to do, after heavy rains created chaos for this once quiet community. In Dayton, Chris Oswalt, Local 5 News. We are Iowa. Stephanie, around the metro, hundreds rode in honor of Wade Frank. They did so for several miles in his honor, and they were not about to let some rain stop them. Through the rain they rode, cycling to remember a friend.
It hurts, it's painful. It's losing a family member.
They embraced to comfort one another.
I mean, they lost a fellow cyclist, they lost somebody that works with them at the bike shop, they lost somebody senseless, really. It didn't need to happen.
More than 50 cyclists gathered at Kyle's bike shop in Ankeny to ride for Wade. The loss of a friend gone too soon, hard for those who loved him.
And he treats everyone here like family, so Wade was literally a brother to me.
They put pedal to pavement, trying to understand. And clear. They call the accident that took their friend preventable. The driver who hit him, admittedly drunk and driving while barred.
In my opinion, this person should have never been on the road. Our court system failed. Our judges and county attorney need to reevaluate what's going to happen to this gentleman from here on.
Across the metro, and even as far away as Afghanistan, hundreds rode for Wade.
It's their way of dealing with it, I think. It's to ride a bike, stay safe.
A way to remember Wade, the man who brought joy into their lives by doing something he loved. The suspect, this man, Jonathan Leyva, is in the Polk County Jail facing several charges, including homicide by OWI. If you would like to show your support for Wade and his friends and family, take a picture of you riding and post it to Facebook or Twitter using the hashtag #RideForWade. Live in studio, Chris Oswalt, Local 5 News. We are Iowa. Yeah, Jack, I did go to the home today that Derby lives in, and I knocked on the door. I wanted to talk to Derby. I could obviously smell a very potent smell of like animal feces coming from the home. It is that same smell that prompted police to investigate this woman. Inside 208 North 3rd Street, Marshalltown police say that the conditions were less than ideal.
When we went inside, we found conditions that were unsafe and unhealthy for the child to live in. We found several animals, 2 which were deceased.
Living at the home was this woman, 50-year-old Kendall Derby, and her 13-year-old son. The teen's former babysitter says she could never go inside the home because conditions were just that bad.
As soon as I stepped in the house, my eyes watered from the smell, and it was a terrible smell.
Marshalltown police first went to the home Tuesday after someone called police concerned about the conditions that the teen was living in. The former babysitter tells me that she saw animal feces throughout the home. She says the stench was so bad, you didn't even have to be inside the home to notice it.
There were times that they would come over and you could smell it on them just being outside of their home. And
while at the home today, I did want to talk to Derby. No one answered the door when I knocked, but the smell was very obvious. All of the animals that were taken from the home alive are now being checked out.
We're still working with a local veterinarian on the care of the animals and determine what the neglect charges will be and how those will be brought forth. And then the child and Department of Human Services, they'll carry out their investigation.
While upsetting, neighbors and the former babysitter say they are glad to see that action is finally being taken and that this teenager is being given a safe place to live.
She's not like a bad person. I just don't think she realized how bad it got, that she was putting her children in danger and risk and those animals,
Derby did make her initial court appearance this morning. Jack, she is out of jail at this time.
And Chris, part of the thing that makes this so shocking, she's a school board member. Is there anyone in the community, any other school board members speaking out about this?
The school is not talking, the district is not talking, and I called every board member listed on the district's website. Only one person answered their phone and refused to discuss any of these charges. So obviously a lot of questions coming from the school board still too.
All right.
It's
shock.
I don't know, it's pretty tough to watch everything that you own
and sadness.
Just burning, you can't do nothing. The fire was so hot.
For Brenton Harmison, less than 24 hours after fire destroys the business his father has spent years building.
It's pretty rough. Pretty rough.
Flames lit up the night sky as crews from 10 different departments worked to get the fire under control. A half dozen people living in rentals on the property were forced to get out. It's a tragedy for the family already fallen on hard times. The business founder, Raymond Harmison, is currently recovering in the hospital after breaking his back.
Emotionally, he sounded okay, but I know he's devastated.
The devastation is just too much for Raymond's son.
Just like, oh my God, it's all gone.
This fire is so intense that thick smoke and flames are coming from it yet again. When my photographer and I pulled up here on the scene, you could see what we see. The fire department wasn't even here, so I called 911, and you can see now that again firefighters are out here battling this blaze. Camp Township's assistant fire chief says the type of building is helping to keep the fire going.
Fire's under the tin, it's falling in, so it heats up, starts stuff back on fire.
The man who lived in an apartment above the shop suffered smoke inhalation. The cause is still unknown. The Harmisons are just grateful everyone is okay.
I got my girlfriend, I got my dad, I got my family.
A family happy to have each other in the face of tragedy. In Runnels, Chris Oswalt, Local 5 News. We are Iowa. Yeah, Stephanie and Jack, the rain is still coming down here, and it's creating a lot of problems in the town of Dayton. I'm going to show you behind me where you can see the Des Moines River. It has gone down significantly since I got to town around noon, but just a few miles downstream from here was a pretty intense situation as emergency crews had to work quickly to rescue 2 people trapped in their home. Only Local 5 was there as crews rescued the couple and their 3 dogs. It took several hours to reach them because getting a boat into the water itself was too dangerous. The river was too fast. The current was pretty strong. You heard Jack and Stephanie talk about those trees breaking under the pressure. We could hear them. Several bridges in the area were washed out, and water covered many of the country roads here. I talked to one neighbor who says this happens about every 10 years or so. He's only seen it 4 times in his 47 years living here in Dayton. Now, the rescue crews did try at least 5 different locations to launch their rescue boat to get to that couple that was stranded. Water was up to the 1st floor of their home when they called 911. By the time that they got rescued, it was up to the 2nd floor. They were forced to go to higher ground, told they were possibly on the roof. Now, I did talk to that couple afterwards. They told me that this water was so strong, the current was so strong, that their garage was actually breaking away from their home. They had 3 cars float away. A propane tank floated away. They were worried about explosions. They were worried about getting out safely. We are going to be here covering this rain that continues to fall. It just doesn't seem to be wanting to let up as the waters start to recede here, which is good news for the people living here in Dayton. Reporting live in Dayton, Chris Oswalt, Local 5 News. We are Iowa. The storm tore the Showers home off its foundation, turned cars into twisted metal, and left the Showers with nearly nothing. What they found, though, is gratitude and even more happiness than ever before. Tattered and torn, Old Glory shows its resilience, a sign of strength on this rural Monroe County farm.
Just move on. That's the most important thing.
Nearly a month after an EF3 tornado leveled the La Villa home of Cecil and Sandy Showers,
Like I say, it's like a bad dream.
reality is setting in.
It takes a while to recuperate yourself, and then after a while you think, whatever, and then it ain't a dream no more.
With the place they've called home for 40 years gone,
Where to start and where to begin.
the 71-year-old and his wife are now starting from scratch.
Boy, oh boy, what a pain.
Picking up the pieces is the first order of business.
It is really a bad pain. I have to admit that just to think about it.
That pain also comes with a gain.
It's unrealistic. I mean, hard to believe.
Help from all over.
Like say Albion, Centerville, and well, even Pella.
Showing up to help out. Hundreds are giving the showers a hand in the rebuilding process.
That ain't no joke. They're coming from everywhere, anywhere and everywhere you can think of.
The shower's new home will cost 3 times more than when they first built 40 years ago. Family, friends, random strangers are all helping cover the costs that keep piling up. Angela Coe is one of those stepping in.
We care, and you know that there's always somebody there that is willing to help them out. Even if you only have $1 to give, that's $1 they didn't have.
So far, dozens of people have come forward to help with an upcoming benefit to cover those costs. One woman even came from 6 hours away. Coe says it's a reflection on the type of people the showers are.
Cecil and Sandy are very well liked in the community. They're such a wonderful couple.
A wonderful couple getting help after a devastating loss. A couple finding resilience and standing strong in the face of tragedy.
You can't let something get you down. You might have a heart attack and not make it at all then.
And Jack, that fundraiser that we mentioned there in the story is actually going to take place next Saturday at the Albia Eagles Club.
That will help with a lot of stuff. I had asked you before if they're insured. It sounds like they were insured for the house as well. That's important. Do they know when they're finally actually going to be able to start rebuilding?
The goal is to start rebuilding sometime in August. They're just waiting on that insurance payout. Jack, James back here is tracking the possibility of more rain, several inches, possibly 4 to 7 in the Bagley area. The DOT is preparing for rising water once again, and tell me Highway 141 will remain closed for a while. Road after road in Guthrie County looks more like a pond. Several inches of water cover many of them, but the worst of it is just west of town in Bagley. Flash flood waters are actually nearing the record levels of 1986. The water so high, this couple had to be rescued from their home by a boat. Only Local 5 was there as the couple walked onto dry land. And in town of Bagley, sump pumps are working overtime to remove all that water from inside homes. 7 miles southwest of town, Springbrook State Park looks much more like a lake. Floodwaters came in and the campers were forced out. Unfortunately, not everybody got out. You can see just how high the water is, and just beyond here is actually some campers that I was unable to get to talk to. They were yelling, send help in a joking manner. Obviously, the water hasn't gotten up to their campers yet, but still a scary situation for those people out here. And while it is scary, they are making the best of it. They're hanging out, splashing around in the water, but take a look at this. This is what Quest Road looks like just north of Jamaica. A small creek turned into a raging river, and it actually washed out this bridge. All the water has forced the closure of several roads besides Highway 141. If you're traveling in Guthrie County, here is a list of some of the closures. Quell Road, north and south of 141, is covered in water. 160th Street, leading into Springbrook State Park, is also closed. And Wood Road, between 140th and the bridge, is underwater. There is no time on when these things will open. So the big question tonight that everybody is wondering, James, is when will it dry out? Katie, a lot of the damage out here is in rural parts of Adams County. I traveled around a lot of the places, and you could see a lot of what Claire was talking about earlier in her live shot, of a lot of damage to mainly outbuilding sheds. Just down the road over here, we're at 110th and Sycamore, just outside of Prescott. The road here, Sycamore Street, is closed right now because of so many power lines over the road. There's debris in the roads. I did talk to the Prescott fire chief. He said this tornado was on the ground, one of the longest he's ever seen on the ground, upwards of 5 miles. He said it's a miracle that nobody is hurt. There is a lot of property damage. Unfortunately, we are hearing some reports of some cattle being killed out here in rural Adams County, but that's the extent of the damage. Now, right now, they are just down the road here. We can't get to it because the road is closed off to everyone, including us, where they are assessing the damage. They're looking at a lot of the debris that's going on. It's really hard to see. We are in an area that's without electricity right now because of this storm. The power lines are down. There was a propane leak a little while ago that has been since taken care of, but right now there's a lot of people without electricity. That's the biggest issue, is getting those people back to places that have electricity. The fire chief says that they are working with the Red Cross, area shelters, to make sure that those people can get to a place that has electricity tonight. Obviously, they're going to be out here tomorrow morning to try and get all the assessments done. We're going to be back out here tomorrow, and we're going to continue updating this story throughout the evening on weareiowa.com. For now, we're live in rural Adams County. Chris Oswalt, Local 5 News. We are Iowa.